And we're live.
Thank you, John. I think we are just waiting for one more board member. So we'll just give it a couple more minutes. There we go. All right. It is 4 o'clock on December 23rd, 2020. And with that, I call into session this special school board meeting of the Stillwater Area School Board. Due to the current federal and state emergency guidelines, the Minnesota directive limiting person-to-person contact during the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.021, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. The board has determined that it is not feasible for at least one board member, the superintendent, or the district's legal counsel to be physically present at the regular meeting location, and that it is not feasible for the public to attend this meeting at the regular location due to the health pandemic. Persons may monitor this meeting via live stream on YouTube through a link on the district's website. School board members wishing to speak have been asked to raise their hand and wait to be recognized. All votes will be conducted by roll call. Each school board member should wait until their name is called before voting and indicate by saying yes or no and clearly using a thumbs up for a yes. This meeting is being recorded. Access to the recording will be made available on the school district's website as soon as possible. And with that, can we start with the roll call, please? Joan?
Director Peltier?
Here.
Director Petrie?
Here.
Director Potacek?
Here.
Director Riley?
Here.
Director Sherman?
Here.
Director Weisberg?
Here.
Chair Stiblin?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Joan. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda tonight? Director Potacek?
I so move.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Director Weisberg, thank you. Any comments or questions before we approve the agenda tonight? All right, seeing none, we need a roll call again. Joan?
Director Peltier?
Yes.
Director Petrie?
Yes.
Director Potacek?
Yes.
Director Riley?
No.
Director Sherman?
Yes.
Director Weisberg?
Yes.
Chair Stiblin?
Yes.
You have a 6-1 vote. Motion carries.
Thank you, Joan. The next item on the agenda tonight is the proposed terms of a one-year contract for the superintendent for the school board for school board consideration. And as a little bit of a background before we present this, I would just like to restate some of the comments that were made from the recent superintendent evaluation. Belinda Lansfeld has led our district during one of the more difficult times that our district has ever experienced. She has taken steps to create change that is needed in our district, and we are making progress. She is humble, thoughtful, creative, open, kind, strong, energetic, optimistic, and honest. We are very lucky to have her leadership during these extraordinarily difficult times. Melinda has expressed and demonstrated that she wants to work with all parties at the table. She demonstrates high ethical and moral characteristics. Superintendent Lansfeld has created an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect that has greatly improved the relationship between the board and administration. Her leadership and incredible work ethic in this very difficult time of the pandemic has been extremely impressive. She works hard to protect and unite this district, which is exactly what we need right now. And so with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the one-year contract for Superintendent Lansfeld for the Stillwater Area School District. Allison Sherman?
So moved.
So moved, thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
Jennifer Pelletier, thank you. Any comments or questions at this time? Director Riley?
So I would like to have a little recap here about what's kind of transpired over the last couple of meetings. So the board directs a 3-year contract negotiation. All attempts made by Director Sherman, Petrie, and Pelletier to move it to a 1-year term fail. Director Petrie inserted herself in the negotiation room, assuring she was not there to, and I'm paraphrasing, derail the directive. Director Petrie defies the directive and tried to negotiate a 1-year and put pressure on Ms. Lansfeld not to accept a 3-year. Conversations of crowdfunding to challenge Ms. Lansfeld if she were to accept the position happened. Director Petrie responded to the entire board in an email that indirectly outed her behavior, claiming to have a conversation with Ms. Lansfeld, where she asked Ms. Lansfeld if she shared any of their private conversation. Why would that question even need to be asked if there was no malice? Directors Petrie, Sherman, Pelletier, and new board members claim this is under the guise of process. This is not an extension, it's a new contract. Apparently, process doesn't matter for a new 1-year contract. Director Pelletier and maybe others suggested to wait until January. So it's okay in January, but not in December. Process no longer matters. It's been said it's not about Ms. Lansfeld, it's about process. But now process no longer matters for a 1-year, just a 2 or 3 year. Ms. Lansfeld has been on an interview with this district for almost 14 years. She has history with us, but now process no longer matters. It's been said we need Ms. Lansfeld here to get through the bond levy campaign this November. What happens if that fails? Press, repeat, but now process no longer matters. Now we have a contract before us that after 1 year allows Ms. Lansfeld to assume a principal position, whether there is an opening or not, possibly putting another $150,000 strain on the budget. It may require us to create a position that doesn't exist. Ms. Lansfeld has a love for this district and our community. She has negotiated a salary that shows that, far less than her predecessor. She has tossed aside security in that salary range because of her love for this district and maybe decided that the systemic bullying and pressures here are just not worth it. Those are my words. We are lacking some critical thinking skills on this board, driven by emotion and blind allegiance. What has been proposed is completely incoherent. It was never about process. What's happening here is manufactured for an agenda which gets more expensive and costly to the district. I do not support this action item. It's not about a process, and it's not about Ms. Lansfeld. It makes no sense cost-wise to pursue this direction. It is much more financially responsible to secure a 3-year contract, which gives Ms. Lansfeld time to get the levy passed and secure the district's financial stability. Again, this is completely incoherent and nonsensical.
Thank you for those comments. Are there any other comments tonight or questions regarding the contract? Director Weisberg?
Thank you. And I agree with a lot of the things that Director Riley said in her statement. I was hoping that we could come to some sort of when Mike suggested the 2-year at the last meeting, I thought that's an actual compromise because I desperately wanted a 3-year. I think most people wanted a 3-year. Some new board members wanted a 1-year, and so I thought the 2-year was a good compromise. So I'm disappointed that we couldn't get more than a year, and I hope that the sacrifice that Superintendent Lansfeld made pays off. But the way things went with the negotiation prior to this, I sincerely doubt that, and that's it. That will be a huge loss to our district. So thank you, Melinda, and I'm so sorry that you were put in the middle of this mess. It didn't have to be this way. I'm glad we have you for the time we do. Thank you very much.
Director Potacek?
Yes. I think, as most people probably know at this point, originally I supported a 3-year contract for Melinda. I proposed at the last meeting what I regarded and Director Riley has referred to as a 2-year contract. When it came down to the directive to try to negotiate a 1-year contract, I opposed that because I wanted 2 years, preferably 3 years, but I was willing to settle for 2. Regardless of that and somewhat of mixed feelings, I am going to support the signing of a 1-year contract. Again, I think we have an unusual opportunity to have an experienced, knowledgeable, particularly knowledgeable with our district candidate who we've gotten to agree to a second contract. And to me, that's important. So for those reasons, I am going to support the 1-year contract. But I also do that with disappointment and a heavy heart.
Thank you. Any other comments tonight? Okay. Seeing none, are we ready to vote? All right, Joan?
Director Pelletier,
Yes.
Director Petrie,
Yes.
Director Potacek,
Yes.
Director Riley,
No.
Director Sherman,
Yes.
Director Weisberg,
Yes.
Chair Stidlin.
Yes.
You have a 6-1 vote, motion carried.
Thank you. And before we adjourn, I just have a comment. Jennifer Pelletier approached me with the suggestion that the 2 of us would make a statement together of support for the district and for Superintendent Lansfeld. And that statement is as follows.
Sorry, I'm ready. Before I start, I want to thank you, Chair Stidlin, for agreeing to this. And I think I just want to thank you for this. So I'll begin. We agree that Superintendent Lansfeld will continue to work very hard to create and establish relationships with all of our stakeholders on behalf of our students and families as we organize for the passage of our near future levy and bond. We support her efforts in these endeavors.
We also know how critical these times are for our school district. This is a time of uncertainty and stress. We are hopeful that the incoming Board of Education and the Pony community at large will join us in supporting Superintendent Lansfeld and work together to support one another. This would be best for all of us. And with that, and before I adjourn, I would like to wish everyone a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and stay warm and stay safe. This meeting is now adjourned. Good night.